Good evening and welcome to Expat Insights. I'm your host Raju Manthi, and here at Expat Insights, we take external and objective look at successes by foreigners, immigrants, and people who have made Philippines their home. But sometimes we break the law, we break the rule, and bring in Filipinos who give us good insights. Today we have two guests, one Filipino and one foreigner. So our theme today is social entrepreneurship, and my first guest today, let me read this. President and founding partner of Rags2Riches Inc., a pioneering social business enterprise which over the years has garnered several awards such as University of San Francisco Social Enterprise Award, Body Shop Foundation Grant, Starbucks Foundation Grant, and the first prize in Business in Development Global Challenge and the Zonta Angels Awards. She is a girl, of course. She is one of the top 10 young leaders chosen by the Asia Society for the Philippines. A model scholar at par and alongside national heroes and luminaries of the Philippines by the Ateneo de Manila University, awardee of the Cream Silk Empowered Woman and of Go Negocio, Young Social Entrepreneur in 2010. The youngest ever in history to receive the Towns Awards, the Outstanding Women in Nations Service Award 2010, and just recently one of the 5 inaugural Rolex Young Laureates of 2010. This happened in Geneva, Switzerland. Young, charming, and soon to be married, my first guest, Miss Reese Fernandez.
Hello.
Good evening, Reese.
Hi, good evening, and good evening to everyone.
Reese, let's start talking about you.
Okay.
What makes you this kind of a person?
Wow, actually when I listen to all of these, it really surprises me still because I think that there's still a lot of work to be done. And while we're very happy with the awards, I think the biggest award will be to see Payatas, or where we're working, as a poverty-free community, and eventually the Philippines. So about me, well, when I was young, I grew up with a missionary mother. So we went around different churches, really looked at the different problems, and we were part of that community, and I never felt different. I never felt like I was a Chinese girl who was going there, although I obviously look like one. But I felt like I was part of the community, that I would eat with the feeding program, I would sleep in the churches as well, I would play with the street children, and I really felt one with them. So it wasn't the feeling of being in a pedestal at all. And I think I was given several opportunities for scholarships in different universities like Ateneo de Manila and Ateneo de Davao. And because of the education that I got from there and the support from relatives and my parents, I was able to patch things together and realize that my history as a child and my education as a student could be merged together, and something could be formed and something could be meaningful. And that's why I decided to pursue social entrepreneurship.
When and how, at what moment of your life did that thought occur that yes, I can merge my background and the education I'm getting and I can put it to good use? Was there a certain day, moment when you said, aha, this is who I'm going to be?
Well, probably a series of events more than one day, or waking up one day and saying this is my destiny. When I was in 4th year college, I joined the Ateneo Management Association, and I was heading part of the project about social entrepreneurship, and it's a social entrepreneurship challenge, something like that. And that was the time when we were trying to marry together the business skills of all of the amazing management students and different students in different disciplines in Ateneo with what's needed out there. And I think that sort of made me realize and discover that it is possible to merge social cause and business, and it can be sustainable. And if you make it the air you breathe, and if you make it something like a life mission, then it turns out to be a lot better and a lot more sustainable.
It can become the air you breathe.
Yes.
That's wonderful. Now, so you're one of the rare person who has been breathing this kind of air. Yeah. There are lots of kids out there. I don't want to call you a kid because you're a young woman. what part of you, what psychological or part of your system was able to breathe so much more than others?
Well, I think it's the realization that you can. Not a lot of young people are exposed to what's out there. And I think I've been blessed with the opportunity. I look at it as a blessing, an opportunity to look at the plight of others in a very, very personal way. And I was also able to join a nation-building movement in the Philippines called Gawad Kalinga
Right,
during
yeah.
college. And that also opened up a lot of doors for me. I think not a lot of people breathe that air because they don't think that it's possible. They think that doing good could be a weekend thing or it could be something to do after you have lots of money. But what if you do it every single day? What if you think about decisions that will make the world a better place every single time? I think that will make the world better faster if a lot of people start thinking about that. But it starts with the decision to discover that it is possible and finally discovering that it is.
I don't usually ask a question like that, no? But I'm also a believer of possibilities. What, from your point of view, deters these people from thinking that it's possible? And what can you and I do, people who have seen it and experienced the possibilities, can probably give them insights on this? What can we do? Is there something after where you are today, can you turn around and say, look, I've done it and it is possible and the road to this destination is pretty easy. What can we do?
Well, yeah, looking back, I really think that it's possible.
Yeah.
It's not that easy. It has its difficulties. I think, well, in every single thing there would be difficulties anyway,
yes.
challenges.
Yeah.
But I think at this point what we could do is always set a good example and always try to talk about what we do in different occasions.
Right.
And to just always encourage people that this is something that's possible. I think, well, the best example and the best kind of convincing would be the results that you have.
Fantastic.
Yes.
So you're saying express yourself, exemplify, make your behavior the example, and then go and empower them. Is that what you're saying? Now, which was the first project did you start? Was Rags2Riches your first ever project, or was there something else before this?
There were little things before this, but it's really more of school projects that are gearing towards social entrepreneurship anyway.
Yeah.
So it's like the Social Entrepreneurship Challenge, wherein we brought several groups of students to different Gawad Kalinga communities.
Right.
So the villages, that they could look for what they can solve, they could look for what the people are good at, and harness the good in people in order to make something sustainable for them. And Rags2Riches is sort of the one that really hit the spot.
Right.
Yes, of becoming socially oriented, environmentally protective, and at the same time it has good business sense.
Right.
So if you can merge all of these together, then it's the way.
So
Yeah.
this little seed of an idea, which occurred to you 3 or 4 years ago, were you alone that time? Were you brainstorming with a bunch of your classmates that time, or was it just you and I said, this is me, I've seen this vision, I want to plant this seed and make this grow? Was it you, or was there a group of people?
It's definitely a group of people. So
Right.
I'm actually with a group of young professionals.
They're still with you?
Yes,
Yeah.
they still are. They're part of the board of directors, and they're always very engaged in what Rags2Riches is going through.
Yeah.
And for me, that's a huge blessing in itself, because all of us, I think, have some semblance of dreams and ideas about how to create something that can be revolutionary.
Yeah.
But a group of ideas merged together could indeed be the revolutionary
No,
spark.
synergy.
Yes, the synergy. So no one person can really do it alone. We have little dreams, but I think it's only when we put these dreams together with others that it actually works. So yeah, I was with a group of young professionals, and I think that's a very good ingredient to the success of Rags2Riches.
Right. The team up with it. Now, how far has this beautiful plant, tree, or this project grown? How big is it from the point of view of a businessman, from the point of view of a Taipan, like say, Henry C?
Okay.
How does it look to him?
Well, for people who can see the potential, I think it looks pretty big, potential-wise. So we're
Yeah.
just 3 years old in Rags2Riches, and of course, when you look at the business itself, it's not that big, of course, in the minds of tycoons.
Yeah.
But when you look at the potential and you see where the world is going, then you know that this is something that can potentially help your children, but at the same time, this is a viable business. So I think with that alone, it's pretty valuable.
So describe the business to me. Describe the product. Describe your business model,
Okay.
and how is it structured to grow?
Okay. First, probably would be the products.
Product. Let's go with the
So
product.
we have foot rugs that are beautifully created. They have high quality. Then we also have bags and fashion accessories, and these are also designed by designers and created by artisans carefully and with the highest of quality. As for the business model, of course, we have products, so we do sell. So the income stream is not from grants or from charity, but
From
rather
work.
it's from work.
Blood and sweat.
It's from the market.
Yeah.
So we have to do what every single businessman always thinks about. What does the customer want? What does the customer need? So it is the same principle, but at the same time, we place another customer in our spotlight, which is the community members.
The supply side.
Yeah, the supply side, the community member. We consider them as stakeholders, and if the quality of their lives increase, then we feel like it's a profit in itself. But of course, we have all of
That's
these
a gain,
metrics. Yes, that's a gain, definitely. So we have different metrics
Yeah.
that we measure.
Yeah.
So there will be profit. So of course, we want to have profit as well. Planet. We want to have as less impact on the planet as possible. And to really reuse or upcycle a lot of the raw materials into beautiful products. We have positive influence, and we have people. We have to make sure that the people that we take care of are really taken care of, and that the quality of their lives are really improving, and that they're recognized for every product that they create.
Two questions. Just to probe into your business model.
problem.
How did you first involve these people? I understand you have more than 2,000 people.
400 and 2,000 indirect
So
beneficiaries.
2,400, maybe more, because they would be people helping these people.
Yeah.
So 2,000 plus people, and that's the first question. How did you involve them? How and why have they still stayed engaged? What method did you follow? I'm sure, I mean, there was this good intention, that's true, but what method did you follow? What kind of structure did you create so that they were always informed,
Yes.
advised, updated, and in tune with what you were doing? Question one. Before I forget, I asked two
Okay.
questions at the same time. The second one, how much impact are you making on the planet? Or how much less of impact are you making on the planet? How much are you hurting the planet less?
So
First question, people, yeah.
okay, the first question being people, how did we engage them?
Yeah.
Well, it's very fortunate for us as well, because part of our founding partners, the one who really converged us, is a Jesuit priest.
Father
And
Ben? Is it
no,
Father?
it's Father Javi, Father Xavier Alpasa. And his apostolate was already Payatas. And of course, he's a very good priest. He's very trusted by the community. And so with his quote-unquote blessing, we were all there. But of course, that wasn't really enough. We had to stay to prove that we're there to stay, and we stayed. And now for 3 years, we're there with them, and I think that is the best way to actually prove that we're serious about what we do. So that is one. And how do we constantly keep them updated and keep them informed?
Yeah.
Well, we usually involve them in all the decision-making processes. We do that 4 times. So we go
4 times.
4 times per session. So
Right.
we go to the community, form a huge group, and then talk to them about the decisions, ask them about their opinions and decisions, and then break them down into groups, and then form another big group again, and then break them down into groups again. So that's 4 times, just to make sure that everybody's on the on the same boat. And it takes a lot of effort, but I think at the end of the day,
It's very challenging. It's not
Yes.
easy to go to talk to people who you don't pay. They're not on your payroll. No social security. Do you kind of provide them with some kind of security?
Actually, Rags2Riches is becoming a very stable source of income for them as well.
Yeah.
So what we do is it's a per piece basis.
Yeah.
So we don't employ them only because it's hard to, because they're mothers and they usually stay at home to take care of the children. So they cannot have an 8 to 5 job. So they're very thankful for the opportunity to be able to stay home and create some products. And at the same time, we have a savings program for the mothers. So it's an automatic savings program. For every product that they create, there's a savings counterpart. And that will be the source for social security.
This is set aside by
and
Rags2Riches, or there's
Yes.
another organization, independent organization taking
We set
care
it aside for them, and we'll be putting it in separate bank accounts so that it will be in their bank accounts, and they won't be able to use it right away. So we asked them about that as well, and they like the idea of not being able to use it right away and just looking at it grow. And that has the components eventually of Social Security and PhilHealth.
Right.
So from the savings, they can start doing that, because unless they start to save first and know the value of savings, it's really hard to commit to something that you have to pay for every month.
So the engagement that they have is more of their choice rather than something that's imposed by you or something that's
Exactly.
controlled by you. Fantastic.
Exactly.
So how are you nurturing the planet by your product, the product itself?
Actually, we're very careful about that. When we think of designs for the product, when we talk to the designers about the product, we make sure that every single raw material would be sourced ethically and environmentally. So as much as possible, we use upcycled materials, which means that we get these materials from the dump sites or the factories before they hit the dump sites.
Yeah.
They're scraps, and thus we use them, but they're clean and safe. So we use either that or organic materials, and we make sure that it's communities who make them. Even if it's hard, sometimes it's logistical nightmare, but it's a decision that is more than just business. It's really something that moves us. It's our mission.
Reese, your products are going worldwide.
Yeah.
Give us a picture of that, yeah? And then after you tell me about Rags2Riches, I'd like to ask you a little human-related question, if that's okay.
Sure, no
So
problem.
share me ideas about where your products are worldwide.
Well, our products now, we have a lot of local stores in 5-star hotels in the Philippines.
Yeah.
So we have that. We also have in Singapore.
Yeah.
We are exporting a little at a time to different places in Europe and the
Right.
US.
Yeah.
But eventually next year we'll be sending out more.
Okay, good. Thank you. So congratulations for the work you've done.
Yes.
It's worth applauding, and you deserve all the awards that you've gotten.
Thank
And may
you.
this business grow. May this change the face of this country and the face of the world. Now I want to ask you something else. One time I asked you, differentiate between self and not self.
Okay.
When does one stop differentiating? And I want to hear that response you gave me one time. One more time.
Okay. Well, as I mentioned last time, I think it's like an orchestra, wherein every single player is very good at what he or she is doing.
Right.
He knows the instrument pretty well.
Okay.
He can do it alone, but it sounds a lot better when you're together. But at the same time, you don't lose track of yourself, because in order to be part of that group and play beautifully,
Yeah.
you have to know yourself, and you have to play beautifully first.
Do you think in your lifetime there will be a moment or a chance that might happen? Is there a scenario you can imagine that you say, I don't want to be a part of this orchestra anymore?
Wow.
Is there any chance?
Wow, unless I get evicted to another planet, probably not, because as long as I live around people and I
Yeah.
see people all the time,
Yeah.
and I see that there are lots of things to be done, I
Yeah.
think we should still work together. So unless, I get drifted in an island or Mars, no.
Okay. Now, future plans for yourself. I know you're getting married. I don't want to
Yes.
ask you about that here on TV, Future plans for you. I mean, where do you see Miss Reese Fernandez, the one you are today? How do you see yourself 30 years down the line?
Wow, 30 years. Okay.
25,
Yeah.
20, it's up to you. Somewhere in the future, you turn around and see Reese now And where do you see yourself from where you are today? Both pictures. The one from the future looking back and one from the present looking into the future.
Well, the one from here, looking there, I'd like to see myself as a really successful social entrepreneur
Right.
who has provided a lot of people with opportunities.
Yeah.
And I'd like to see Rags2Riches grow because of my leadership and the leadership of all the people who are with me now.
Right.
And I think for me, just looking back from 30 years from now, let's say, I'd like to look back and see children saying that they want to be like me.
Wonderful.
I think, yeah, that's the biggest reward ever.
No, that's what you wanna see 30 years from now.
Yes.
What are you saying to yourself when you turn around there? So you're a little matured person, 25, 30 years from now, and you turn around and you say, little Miss Reese Fernandez who's 20 something. What are you gonna tell her? Congrats, wonderful job. What kind of words will you use?
Well, I'd probably say hold on tight, and there will be lots of challenges along your way.
There's more coming.
Yes,
yeah?
there's more coming. You think that's big.
Yeah.
That's not yet big.
Yeah.
So I will tell myself to just hold on, and I think that that is a kind of hope that I always give myself even now, that all shall be well,
Yeah.
and no matter how many challenges there will be,
Yeah.
there will always be solutions.
All right. Thank you very much for
Thank
being on the
you.
show, and thank you for sharing your wonderful, fresh insights with us on Expat Insights. We are coming to a close to the show. If there's anything you want to say to your friends, to your community, or to the big world outside, the next 60 seconds are yours.
Okay, well, I'd be a little Filipino here. I'd like to greet my my team members, of course, from Rags2Riches.
Kamusta kayo?
Yes, kumusta kayo?
Yeah.
I'd like to greet my community members from Payatas and from the different areas around Metro Manila. And I'd like to say that, well, thank you first and foremost for being with us here in Rags2Riches for 3 years. And there's still a long way to go and a lot of things to do. And I'm very optimistic that everything will work out because you will be there with me. So thank you.
Reese, it's been a pleasure.
Yes, you too.
Mabuhay and may your kind multiply
Oh, thank you.
and change the world. Salamat.
Thank you. Thanks.